Hello, guys, and welcome to the Body of Evidence conversation series. And thank you for availing yourself for this conversation. So before we start, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Mandla Mbothwe. I'm a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Town. I'm an artistic director for Mud and Fire Parables, but I'm also an artistic director for the campaign, which is Body of Evidence, which you both have taken part in. Just before we go on, I just want you to quickly introduce yourselves. So let me start with Anne. Please quickly introduce yourself.
Okay, hi, I'm Juries-May. I'm a local actress and artist, and most of my work currently is based on youth development and women empowerment.
Okay, thank you, Anne. And Vuvu?
Hi, my name is Vuyolowethu Asanda Nompetsheni. I am a performer, I'm a teacher and a creator.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So this is a conversation. I'm going to try and keep it. Let's just have a conversation, really. My first question for you guys is, what do you think about the gender-based violence and femicide in South Africa at the current state? And when do you think it all started? Do you think it has always been like this in our society? So, Vuvu?
Starting with the question where you're asking, has it always been or when did it start? Yeah. For me, I believe that it's always been there. We grew up in this state. But now it's only because of how we are focusing on, we understand that these things are happening and we want to take the stand, which is how it's being highlighted. But it's always been there. It started when Abantu came long ago and they did the things to our people. And it's there, like I find it a bit irritating when I'm at church and there's a service and we need to go and dish up. It will always be, ladies, can you please go to the kitchen and bring the food over? And where does the food start? It starts emadodeni, kabanda bangotata. And you'll find that there are younger guys in church, but it always has to be the girls, no matter the age is. We have to serve or younger than me. Just because Ngumfana, he can't go help in the kitchen. So it's always been there.
Anne?
I think I must agree that it's been there and it's been there globally. And I think over the years, because of the oppression of women in society, it has been silenced in so many ways. And because of how things have progressed globally again, women are now being heard, or we are realizing our power, which we have been told and taught and groomed to believe that we are powerless and that we have to be subservient. And I think a result of that is the extreme abuse that we have suffered over the years. And I think now we are saying we are not going to take this abuse anymore. This is not something new. And I feel like you were saying, it was this part of society where we condone it in small micro actions that actually reinforces that idea that a woman is less or is subservient. And I think that narrative is changing now as we unite, as we have more of these conversations. As we know more about how to deal with our traumas as well, we are now a bit more active in finding ways of preventing it, which is so important. But I do believe that it's been there, and it's been a whisper.
Yeah. And it's so funny how on my way here in the taxi, this guy was drunk in the taxi on his way to work. So he was speaking and saying that it's so funny how women has changed. We are no longer imbokodo. We are just stones. We don't take things like women back then they used to be stronger, they never used to cry. Now all we do is kwa 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 all the time, like we voice out. I was like, this guy, there's something totally wrong with him. Like, he's not seeing that we are now stronger and able to speak out because there are platforms like this that are allowing us to stand up and speak freely.
Yeah. And because of we are also artists, you know, artists have this tendency of when there are problems in the society, and we respond first with our art or our creative expressions. And when we do that, we tend to think that the problem is outside, is not within us. Please, can you talk about in relation to gender-based violence and femicide within the art industry itself? If there are any experiences, if there are any thoughts around that as artists?
Absolutely. I think that there's this notion that as artists, we don't belong to ourselves, or we belong to our country. And I think that within our artistic spaces, sometimes the work takes precedent, right? And then sometimes we get exploited financially and physically. And just to even speak to like a personal experience, I once was on a set where someone slapped me, and it was a male actor, and I went to the producers, powers that be, and said, look, I'm unhappy about the fact that I was hit. And we had a meeting where it was like, you guys need to make peace. And there was no consequence after that for that other actor who actually physically attacked me. That actor still got to come to work, do his job, and I'm not saying that I wanted him to lose his job, but I wanted there to be a consequence, because the message that sent to the other actors on set was that it's okay to slap another actress on set. It makes the other actresses who are getting slapped, who are getting groped, who are getting kissed when they're not supposed to, think, what's the point of speaking out because I might lose my job? They'll just hire another actress in my place. And because that art doesn't necessarily, that character doesn't necessarily belong to me, they're just going to put someone else in it. But I'm giving myself wholeheartedly to this art space. And there's this fine line about knowing also for yourself when you are being exploited. Because sometimes you think, oh, this is part of the process. But actually, that's not, and lines are being crossed. But because we're so afraid to speak up about that or to recognize it for what it is, it doesn't happen. And people don't speak up. And even more so, we don't back each other up. So if one artist comes and says, this is what's happened, it's like, look, for the good of the piece, for the good of the work, let's finish this job and then we'll discuss it. Or you're not even gonna stand by me because you're afraid of also losing your job. And because work is so scarce, it's like a trigger, it's a domino effect, basically. Yeah.
Vuvu, any experiences in the industry and your thoughts around that?
I think from now, I was lucky enough to be in a group. When I started a jazz art, the ladies were drilled. Like, we were drilled in to be stronger, like stronger than the guys. If we're doing exercises where we had to push to be almost in the same level as the guys. And I was thinking about it sometime this week, and I was like, maybe it was not, they were not doing that in order to break us, but they were just making us stronger. Hence, I'm saying that I was fortunate to not be in an environment that was like that, but to be in an environment that pushed me to be stronger and to want to look stronger and firm and know my rights and know what's wrong and know what's right. Yeah.
But the industry now, you are out of of that safe space, and
I'm
you
out
are
of that safe space. I know what's wrong. I know what's right. So now I'm able to say, this is not on. Immediately, I don't even waste time. I don't waste time. Even if you're looking at me in a way, I will tell you I don't like the way that you're looking at me. If you're hugging me in a way whereby I can feel that you are feeling me, I tell you immediately, if you do not want me to give you a hug, just say so, because this is my body. This is not a way that you should be touching another female. I am not your girlfriend. I am not your wife.